And then welcome back to another video. Today we will be watching a replay on Wargame Red Dragon against me and my cousin. Our first game playing destruction against each other in Wargame Red Dragon. And we'll be doing our replay review. So let's see how this goes. It was a fun game. It was our first one in this game together. And over here we're gonna have my cousin starting as Red 4. He's gonna be going as the Russians, and on my side I will be going as Blue 4, and I will be playing as Israel. I specifically like Israel just because they have so many specialized units and their tanks are actually pretty damn good. So he's the one that set up this game, and I didn't know it was actually destruction. At first I thought we were playing Conquest. As you can see, he instantly goes for the extra command units. Where me, on the other hand, I was like, okay, this is Conquest, so I'm going to want to get as much. I'm over here making a plan at the moment. I haven't put anything down. As you can see, he's already getting stuff down. I'm making a plan. I'm like, okay, we're going to want to go for this very heavy land grab. Like, we're going to want to control more than 50% of the map. So then, because in Conquest, you want to control more of the map, because then you'll get your points that you need to win. But this is actually destruction, so you just need to kill units to win. But did I know that at the beginning? No, I did not. So my cousin, he's going for the command vehicles right out of the gate. He's got his 2 tank command vehicles and then 2 jeep command vehicles. Me, I still don't have anything down because I'm still coming up with a plan. I'm gonna speed this up just so the game starts. Just till the game starts, yeah. I'm gonna pause it real quick. I put my units over these buildings, these helicopter units, so then they start in the air, so then they don't have to do that takeoff animation, which is a nice trick to do. As you can see, my cousin's finally getting down some recon. Has a nice BRM right there. He's getting down some infantry, some anti-air, some anti-vehicle, and some ground infantry. I'm getting down some tanks. My plan is I'm gonna go for a land grab right here and just hold Foxtrot on this left side. Okay, so I'm gonna pause it real quick. The game starts. Okay, and look at how many units my cousin has down. Look at how many I have down. I'm still sitting, I don't know how much points he's sitting on, but he might have spent all of his. We started with like 1,500 or so. I'm still sitting on like 800 points, and the game starts, because there's a timer. I barely have anything down. So, just to give you an example of that. So I'm rushing to get my units going. And the first thing that's going through my head is he's going to have overwhelming numbers if he's been placing units down, which he clearly does. You can see that. So I'm still going to go for my land grab. I'm still going to have these tanks, and I'm going to have them go to this tree line, because then they can practically see everything. In here. Like if anything tries to cross this field or this road, they'll be able to, maybe not this road, but they'll be able to shoot anything right here. And so I'm gonna bait on that. If he sees at least one of my units, he won't push forward. Again, the graphics of this game are amazing. I have my 1 scout vehicle, my 2 tanks, a really expensive one and my cheaper one. I did send my helicopters with the command infantry and my recon towards the city to get this nice land grab, like a +5 in Delta, which is going to be huge towards economy. I also have just a regular command truck over here heading to get Bravo, so I get that nice land spawn point. Some of my helicopters do arrive. I do have this Zephyr E with the stingers, the infrared stingers down there, that are good against enemy helicopters, in case you would have had some. My cousin, unfortunately, I don't know if his units just got stuck here or he didn't think he was going to get any further, but he didn't keep his infantry going. He could have came up here and grabbed this real quick. You see he gets his infantry and everything in a defensive position in a hotel. I think that's where he just wants to hold as well, which is partially why I'm okay with just holding this here. I then try to just start spewing out units, because like I said, I still have like 800 points, and I'm trying to get infantry and tanks and stuff to this side of the map where I have nothing. And because I have nothing at the moment, I instantly send out a very expensive attack helicopter with a recon, just to see if I could spot anything trying to make a move. Because he might have, like, I was thinking, here, I'll show you what I can see. This is all I can see at the moment. I do see his command for a little bit here, but this is all that I can see at the moment. This is all that he can see at the moment. He does see I have some helicopters, so he sends in his Su-27 to deal with some of these helicopters. I do send in my my barrack, which is my air-to-air fighter, air-to-air superiority fighter, and crazy kill right here. As his jets are going after my anti-radar jet that's flying away here, my barrack is able to come in from the side and he just shoots that guy right in the ass. So that was a very beautiful move. It was just tragic that his Su-27s ended up trying to kill my anti-radar jet, because it has very good flares and ECN, so it can dodge missiles very easily. And then my barrack was able to unload all of his missiles and even put about 200 rounds from that Vulcan into the enemy. So we did get a nice juicy kill on one of the dudes there. My little attack bird here ended up using 3 of his 4 missiles. I don't remember on what. I think it was on a command. No, that command tank is fine. Fired on something. Like I was saying before, I brought this attack helicopter in case he tried to make a move up, because this is very tragic of my cousin here, because if he would have probed a little bit, he would have seen that I didn't have anything here at the moment, and he could have pushed up and taken Alpha as well. As well as over here, he could have probed a little bit and seen that I only had those 3 tanks, and he could have pushed up very easily. But now that he's just sitting there, I'm able to call in the units that I need to hold this position. I'm still having the pedant hover right here, just in case anything decides to come in this field. I decided to call in some artillery because I don't really know where anything is. Just so I can start shelling like this area and stuff. I did see before when I had my these helicopters up here, I saw that he had all of the, there's a bunch of Tunguskas. Sorry, Tunguskas in this forest right here. I'm bringing in, so I just had these tanks here, but I brought in some infantry just to hold this little town here in case anything does come from this road. Maybe bringing in some recon that I'm gonna decide to put right here, because then he can get a way better view on everything here rather than just this guy in the forest here. What else we got going on? All of these transports that have already been used and dropped their units off, I always kind of send to the middle, like out here, as kind of a forward defense, in case they want to soak up some bullets. Because in this game, if a unit shoots, it's most likely if you have recon, they'll be spotted. I also move my pedant up a little bit, and I change its altitude so it's hovering a little bit higher. So then if something does appear, it can instantly be able to just shoot it. I bring in some Oshkoshes, because you know Oshkosh does make some pretty good military vehicles. They're logistics trucks to resupply some of my units. Oh yeah, here's the Tunguskas I talked about. Look at that, 4 Tunguskas just sitting in this tree line. So they instantly annihilate both of these forward helicopters, these transports that I had sitting there, as I wanted to move this guy up. So then I stop him. That's why I use these transports as like a forward scout, because I wouldn't have known these guys were there, and if I would have brought an attack helicopter in, that would have just been a tragic loss right there. I'm trying to bring this Oshkosh in to give these Meglens their strike missiles back, because they're actually very good strike missiles. Like, sometimes you can just go with a bunch of Meglens rather than these Dorbans, which are anti-tank. These Meglens are also have a great cell spike missile for the anti-tank warfare. I finally get these Meglens unloaded, have them start moving. Oh, I fire my massive amount of artillery that I got going on here. And I'm trying to go for a command snipe in this sector. I'm still on my view. But as you can see, I do guess right, and he's got his Jeep command right there, and he gets sniped. That's an easy 100 points in my favor. And it neutralizes Gulf, so he can no longer have units come out of there. I also have my other units firing, my other artillery piece firing in this area, hoping to kill these Tunguskas that are sitting in the tree line, but the accuracy is not very great. As a great response, my cousin has his artillery right here, these nice Russian trucks. They shoot right back at my artillery, and me focusing on the rest of the map, like moving this one transport in to see what I could spot here. I do not notice the incoming artillery fire, and he gets a nice juicy kill at my helicopter and all 3 of my artillery pieces. So that was a great response from his artillery onto mine. I should have realized that I should have moved my artillery, and that just bumps him up to 555, so he's in the lead. I'm me at 320. I moved my Meglens up. I did move them up to the tree line, but then I noticed that they really weren't going to spawn anything, and if I was going to get any of these guys to show themselves, I was going to have to make them shoot, so I moved them out into the middle of the open. Meglens are pretty damn good. They can hold off against many things on their own. Like, they have MG and the spike missiles, so I'm not too worried about losing them. I bring in a Siphon, just a regular scout helicopter, just so then my the Zephyr and the Pedon have some stuff. As you can see, I have these Zeldas, just the transports that already unloaded the infantry, move up, so then something might fire these tanks, especially. And then they'll get focused on by my attack helicopter that's just firing. There's another kill. Will we get another one? Yes, we do. That's about 100 points right there. Thanks to this amazing Apache helicopter. Apache style, that is. He brings in one of his jets to deal with my... okay, so right here, he brings in one of his jets, the Su-27. Air superiority fighter, to deal with my Pedon. But the tragic part is, as it's coming in, as it's coming in, its missiles will miss, and then he flies right over both of my anti-air that have just opened up on him. Not only that, but I already called in both of my air superiority fighters and my anti-radar seed aircraft. So he's not gonna last much longer. He does survive the AA, and then gets picked off by actually the AA. Here, my seed aircraft comes in a conflict with another Su-27, almost goes down. As you can see, he's shaken and only has half HP. But with the help from the suppressing fire of this AA unit, and the fact that his Su-27 flew right over my AA, the suppressing fire from it ended up getting us another kill. So there's both of his Su-27s down, and that will bump us up to 860, and him still sitting at 575. Alright, I'm moving some vehicles over here to the far right in case he was going for a flank. He could have been sending infantry along here this whole time and just coming to kill off my command over here. So I'm just sending some stuff over there just to make sure that that doesn't happen. As you can see here, I'm kind of just setting up a defense. I've got a bunch of... a great combination is infantry with recon in buildings, and then tanks and recon in forest lines. So as you can see, I have this tank and its recon here in this forest. So if anything decides to cross this field or over here, this tank will have a nice easy shot with his missiles and his 120mm gun. I do have my helicopter still hovering here for that exact same reason. And then again, I bring the same combination of another tank and another recon over to this tree line in case anything decides to come this way or right here. This side is still basically the same, just a little bit more fortification. Really nothing has been happening on this side. You'll see some stuff going on later game though. I'm having my Zephyr E fall back to base since he is out all of his stingers and he is no longer useful. Not really that useful with this Hydra or anything. Not much range. I am having my artillery fire again. My last artillery remaining. That was just far ahead enough not to get nuked. I'm having him fire back in this area to try to get some of these Tunguskas away because I know they're still there. Not that I've seen them, but that it's a feeling. I do see this BRM. Okay, so what happens here is this Dorbin, as you can see, he has got one missile left. So what do you want? What are you wondering that happened? I wasn't paying attention, wasn't looking, but he had a whole bunch of transports. Like here's one, and here's another that were pushing up through this tree line. And my Magdalene, that was right here, just opened fire with its tank missiles and destroyed those transports, which made this guy here, this BRM, open fire on the Magdalene. Actually, no, it opened fire on my Dorbin because my Dorbin was also supporting my Magdalene with its missiles. So then it was spotted, and then this BRM started opening fire on my Dorbin. And as you can see, the Dorbin only comes with 2 people in its squad, and it's sitting on 1 person and with 1 bar of HP. And so, as you can see the explosion right there from the shot, what I did is I selected the Dorbin and had it target this guy. And then it was to whoever hit the first shot, because this guy could only take 1 more shot, and this guy has great accuracy, so this guy could only take 1 shot. And this guy shot, and his bullet landed first, but it missed. And my rocket flew and destroyed him. So that was a crazy kill right there. Very close. Again, I'm having my artillery fire, trying to score against these Tunguskas. I do spot he's moving forward with some transports, and again now his tank is spotted, because I had this tank moving to try to bait any of these T-62s in the tree line to fire. As you can see, my tank arms pretty well, but I knew I could have taken a shot, and that allows me to unload my infantry and have this tank then engage. As you can see, he counter artilleries, but this time I'll have my artillery move out of the way. With the support from the parent that I sent in, which is a Abrams looking tank that actually its gun doesn't work. It just has the missiles on the top. That like up there, the missiles. So from a missile from that, I ended up taking it out. So again, I like to just probe with these transports and stuff. This is a tank, but it's also a transport. That's what unloaded this this anti-tank infantry that I'm actually having move up to this town, so I can get that next cheeky town grab. Let's see what he can see. So he can see my helicopter and that I am in this town. He can see that. He is sending some of his T-72s into this tree line, which I'm not aware of at the moment. But as you can see, from when it went from me barely having anything, went to me having a lot. And that is because I'm sitting on a ton of the cabs. As you can see, from the Magdalene Recon, I do spot these T-72s, and that just allows the Dorbin with his new crew member to just open fire and take out one of those guys. Couple easy points. I'm in the lead with 1165. one of my favorite things to do, especially in Conquest and Destruction. Destruction more, but I didn't even know it was Destruction. I thought it was Conquest. Is send in these seed aircraft, which are anti-radar aircraft. They got these missiles that if they detect a radar trying to lock onto them, these missiles will just follow that lock and destroy the target that it's emitting from, which these Tunguskas. As you can see here, these two books that he has sitting in this tree line are radar guided missiles for anti-air. And so I see them, a good player will turn off the radar, and then when he sees aircraft coming in, he'll turn them on. So his radar missile actually does get a hit. These guys are flying so close together that the one missile actually hits both of my jets, which is tragic, but these are seed aircraft, so my missile actually destroys one of them, and then as they're flying, it gets another hit on the second one. And that allows both of these guys to get the hell out of there with 2 kills. He does send in 2 Su-27s to deal with my jets, but they're out of there, and I send in my barracks as a response if his jets would have kept flying. I see that he's evacing, so I send both of my jets to evac as well. He's got some transports moving up. Those are easily picked off by my Dorbans that I have stationed in this town here. So he is realizing that I am definitely doing a lot better in economy and in points at the moment, so he goes for some cheeky helicopters. He knows he needs to get some kills, so he just need to think about what to do. I bring in some units over to this forest here, just in case he tries to do some sort of unit push around here to the side that I wouldn't be prepared for. As you can see, his helicopters are coming in. These are nice helicopters for the cost. They have no air-to-air capabilities, but they have some very nice ground or air-to-ground capabilities, and very tanky for cheap aircraft. As you can see, he brings them in, and they detect my transports first. This is why I love having transports just sitting on the open, because now that those things have open fire, I can see them. And what do? I select my barracks, my air superiority fighters, and I'm going to have them come in. Again, he does actually, so a bit scary of a moment, I had this guy land because the Oshkosh had arrived to give him more fuel and more of these Hellfire missiles. And because he's on the ground, it allows these Mi-24s to actually target him with their ground missiles. So that was actually a very scary moment right there. I am trying to get my jets to come in. As you can see, the accuracy of the Mi-24s is not great. My first missile missed from the barrack, but the second one does make contact. Stuns that one. I still haven't noticed that these guys are targeting my Pedon. I'm just too focused on trying to get my jets in here to deal with it. As you can see, he sends in his 2 Su-27s to deal with my 2 air superiority fighters, but they actually get out of there, and I end up buying 2 of these Baz jets. Now, these Baz jets are actually better against helicopters and weaker against aircraft, but because I had already used my air superiority fighters on these Mi-24s and then bought the Baz, I actually had the Baz decide to go for these Su-27s instead. So as you can see, these Su-27s are turning around back to engage me, and then my Baz are actually already opening fire with their very short-range missiles but good accuracy. And because they have so many of them, they're able to just fire rapid fire, and that's a nice 180 point kill right there. He does get a kill on one of my Baz, and I think he might actually get the kill on the other one. No, he doesn't actually. So for that one Baz that I lost, it was definitely worth killing one of these Su-27s. So these Mi-24s are just shooting at my Hummer transport I got over here with infantry in it. And they end up hitting my Pedon very hard, but I have it take off, so then it can't be targeted anymore. He's evacing his Su-27. And I have my anti-air truck right here pull ahead to deal with this pesky helicopters. I'm having my P-10 fall back to base to get rearmed, as you can see sitting on 2 hit points. I'm having this guy pull ahead so that he can easily deal with these Mi-24s. Messiah just had 2 helicopters crash right outside their building. Like, that was pretty close. So I'll talk about some close encounter. I'm having my artillery, once again, my 1 piece remaining, fire into this area. See if I can hit anything. And as you can see, he does have some stuff in there. What else we got going on here? Once again, I have these random transports come onto the field and pick off, make this T-72 fire upon them, and then I'm able to get a cheeky spot on that tank and take it out with a missile from the Dorbin. If Maxo would have realized it by now, he would have had his tanks hold fire. So then I couldn't just keep sending transports in here like this and get them to get spotted. But then again, it's always hard to do that, especially on such a big map like this. You want your units to be able to react without you having to react for them. So he does anti-artillery strike me again, but I already have my LAR getting the hell out of there, as I know already what happened last time. In my P-10 that I wanted to land, I have him hold just while this airstrike is happening. This artillery strike, I should say. I do get a cheeky grab here in this forest with a recon and a tank. I love that combination. Recon tank, recon tank, recon tank. Where is it? Recon. Unit in the building, unit in the building. So I just love that. These guys, I believe, do get picked off by, I think I sent in jet, another one of my air superiority to pick off the one, and then this guy's left on 1 bar of HP. I'm gonna speed it up a little bit here again. I'm moving up some units here on the left, some more of that recon, and this is actually a tank that just has missiles. But again, it's a viable source, kind of like a recon tank sort of a situation. Alright, so what's gonna happen here is I'm heavily in the lead, and he knows that. And because I know I'm heavily in the lead, I'm gonna invest in some napalm bombers. So both of these jets carry 5 napalm bombs, and what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna target this forest. Because even these tanks, yeah, they're not going to get affected by fire, but what they're going to do is they're going to get panicked. And what they're going to want to do is they're going to want to move. And so I send in these 2 napalm bombers with my 2 air superiority fighters, just in case he has some of his air come in. And what I'm going to try to do is I'm going to try to kill and move anything in that forest, so that I can get eyes on it, especially since I have these guys right here. So they get panicked, and they instantly move out. And right when they move out, they instantly get targeted by tank recon and tank recon. And there's another one dead. They're just getting picked off as they back up out of here. Trying to return fire, but they just can't do much when they're under so much fire themselves. There's the movement down. They don't pick off anything. Or these enemy tanks don't pick off any of my units. As you can see, he sends it in Su-27, but it's kind of too late. As you see here, he's going to have some artillery open fire. I'm having my artillery also open fire. But he's going to have his artillery open fire on setting smoke for his push that he's going to be having going up here for his T-72s, which is actually very good because it doesn't allow my Messiah to open fire. But unfortunately for him, again, I have these 2 transports sitting out here, which he's shooting at, and allows me to detect that this force is incoming. I'm sitting on a lot of points, so I ended up buying 8 more tanks, and I'm going to have them come in. also buy 2 more of the Pedons because I'm sitting on a lot of points, and the Pedons are great at. I have the one that I've owned all game, hovering here, and I'm gonna have him move over to here, so he'll have line of sight in this kind of direction. I know that the Tunguskas are still there, and I'm hoping that they're not being pushed up with the T-72s. That's why I'm kind of being cautious with the Pedon. I do have 2 more coming in, and because I'm scared that the Tunguskas are being pushed in, I actually have my 2 anti-radar jets coming once again to make sure that these Tunguskas aren't moving up. And I see that these guys haven't locked on anything, so I have them fall back then. Alright, if you actually just give me 1 moment, I actually have to run to the bathroom. Sorry very much. Just skip past for like, just skip past a little bit. Alright, very sorry. It's not like I'm a professional YouTuber or anything. I'm just doing this slow. Just a few people that I hang out with can see this video. But I mean, hey, if I become professional, I'd be okay with that. Alright, let's start this back up. So, with those jets flying over, I then see that the Tungusias either just have their targeting off or they're not being moved up. So on that note, it's a 50-50 chance. So I do have these Pedons stay where they are at. And because they're being spotted by shooting at my better tanks in here, I am able to pick them off with this one Pedon. He is having his artillery open up now on my tank location, now that he's spotted where my good tanks are. I do have these Pedons hold ground here, just in case the other tanks decide to move up. I actually, now that I say that, I do have them pull back because now that I feel like that the greater threat of, also, what a beautiful shot right there. What a beautiful shot right there. This game is absolutely stunning. Look at the rockets flying over and the helicopters. This game is fairly beautiful. Alright. So I have these guys pull back because with the greater tank threat eliminated, I expect him to push up with his Tunguskas to take care of all these juicy helicopters that he can get easy points off of. And his artillery's coming in now to deal with my tanks. Some nice artillery takes out one of my tanks and heavily damages the other 2. Look at, I'm sitting on 1 hit point and then 2. I do hear that combat's happening over here. So he brings a bunch of infantry into this forest like I thought was going to happen. and I was not very prepared. I had my infantry sitting back in this forest, and just the Hummers, again, just some random transports just sitting in this, tree line. I actually make my tanks move up forward because it would have been harder for them to back up into that stuff rather than to just drive forward. So I do move up my infantry just to kind of put some contest onto these guys so they don't just move up. These guys being the Sayet, very high ranking, the Sayet. Look at these guys are just rank 2, and these guys being rank 5. So I'm bringing these guys up just to put some suppressing fire onto this very, very large amount of Motostrictly. Just so that I'm able to bring in these reinforcements. I'm bringing in a bunch of troop reinforcements to help. And like I suspected, he is bringing his Tunguskas up. So once again, I have my recon push up to see if there's anything else in this forest, and there is. And that gives sight for my 2 Merkvas, which are badly damaged, sitting on 1 to 2 hit points, but have amazing guns. He could have got some nice easy Merkva kills, but he decides to pull back. Again, he did bring his Tungushkas up, which is why I actually had my Pedans fall back. I have my artillery actually do anti-artillery fire, but he has already moved his 1 patch of artillery out of the way. I just missed it, but these two guys, the 2 Tungushkas that he just moved up, I knew he was going to do that, so I brought in my seed aircraft once again, and that 1 seed aircraft scores the 2 kills on these 2 Tungushkas, which allows this napalm bomber to get napalm off. The 2 napalm bombers, actually, to get napalm off into that forest. Which once again stuns the T-27s and gives sight to my 1 HP Merkvas and this Dwarven. As you can see, my other 8 tanks that I purchased are coming in now. Very cheap guys, but pretty damn good. Very weak armor, but very good gun. I could have moved my Pedans in, but I was too afraid that they were going to get shot down by any more Tungushkas. As you can see here, my Shayet has taken some heavy losses from the Motostrictly, so I have them pull back. But now the more infantry is showing up. As you can see, we pick off the last few tanks in this forest, and then I decide to move up my Pedans just in case. And now with the reinforcements here, I unload them, and then I decide to do a heavy push with everything here. I just select all of them and heavily push the Motostrictly. So these guys that were once fighting and then retreated are now helping push with the new Tizani on the Motostrictly. As you can see, 4 more hammers coming in with more infantry just in case. I do have my Petons fall back to the middle here. And then he is artillering my tank setup that I got going on here. As you can see, he's finally got a seed aircraft of his own, but only being, what is this, a rank 1 in veterancy. His accuracy is not that great, so both of his missiles miss this one guy here. And because I just have 2 of them sitting here, I'm able to easily pick that guy off. He does bring in another one, but again, being at rank 1 veterancy, it doesn't survive that long. He does pick off that Merkvan finally, both of them, the 1 HP and the 2 HP one. So now I am just left with these light tanks, which I decide to move ahead. I do have more of these higher tier guys coming in, 4 of them actually. I decide with such a huge, strong advantage in infantry, 40-20 in 15, I decide to push up with these infantry to see what I can find. So this late in the game, I have 3,475 points. So I'm just gonna buy a bunch of bombers. Both of these have 10 500 kilogram bombs along with my napalm bombers, and I'm just gonna bomb the hell out of this area and then go for a push. His Tunguska's in this forest here do get some nice cheeky kills. I don't expect any of these bombers to live. But the fact that I now killed off something in this woods, and I believe damaged this guy. Yes, he's only on 3 bars of health. And these guys are all out of missiles and at 1 bar health, and these guys are now napalmed. So he's gonna have nothing left in this forward position. So then what I decide to do is I give all these guys the attack order, and I'm having them move forward. And I'm also giving them tank and recon support from these guys I had in the tree here, as well as moving up another tank and recon and my Parith, which is the missile tank. You can see it right there. I did have my cargo helicopter there. And I also move in my Pythons. See if they can spot anything. Once again, he actually has his command T-72 firing. So I now see that command T-72, and I decide to have my Pythons go in there and deal with that. Luckily for me, these guys are all out of anti-air missiles, so I'm able to just run in here with these Pythons and absolutely get some work done with the autocannons and the missiles. I even had this infantry from this town push up and take this building, and then I easily pick off this motor still in here with these autocannons. And now we have this under control. So this is destruction, and I even pushed up and took over a building. Over here we just got some contact with some BMPs. But these infantry do have these missiles that can semi-deal with the BMPs. I do have my LAR once again going for the anti-artillery fire. And look at this, he's got a ton of units coming in. Tons of infantry, tons of tanks, tons more infantry, and 2 more tanks. But with me being on 3,840 points, I only need to get a few more kills and the game is mine. Nice artillery shots from him. Panicking most of my tanks. So I just have them push up. Me knowing I only need to get a few more kills, I'm just having all of these guys push up. Again, once again, having the transports out in front, just in case anything wants to shoot at them. And look at this, we do have these guys open fire. Once again, even if these units did arrive, it would have been a mass slaughter because I had all these dudes here too. I'm just having these tanks push ahead because I just need a few more kills. And now that these guys can finally see the dudes on the tree line, they will open fire. Or maybe not yet. I don't think they can see them yet. Ah, now they finally see them. Oh, I also had my seed bombers coming because I knew that those Tungushkas were still there. And that gets me the final kill that I need on a Tungushka. So as you can see, I had 1,700 losses and 4,000 kills. So I did much better for the kill to loss ratio. So that's going to be that game. It was a very fun game. I wish I could have shared the chat with you guys, with me and him talking together, because it's actually a very funny game. Like how my anti-radar jet ended up killing his air superiority fighter and all that kind of crap. But it was a fun game, and I hope to doing more in the future. I hope you guys enjoyed, and thank you for watching.